everyone, welcome to my North Knit Corner. My name is Anne and I come to you from the south of Norway. Here I live with my husband and our 3 boys, and now also a little dog. He is right here. I hope he will remain quiet, fingers crossed. Happy New Year everyone, I hope you had a great start to 2025. It's good to be back with a regular podcast. I'm really excited to talk to you all about my knitting projects. Thank you to everyone who watched my Vlogmas in December. I really appreciate it. I know it's not for everyone. So, like I said, I'm excited to be back with the good old podcast. Yes, I will have timestamps as I always have on my episode. And of course, there are information about everything I talk about in the description box below. Before we start to talk about the new year, let's talk about the things I finished at the end of last year. One of them is what I'm wearing, and it's the Radvent cardigan by Ambah O brien. This is designed to use an advent calendar, and that's exactly what I did. I used my calendar from Through the Wardrobe yarn, and the yarn calendar was Narnia themed, which I like because I love the Narnia universe. I knit the size 5 on 3.5mm needles US 4. I also used some Sunny Sunday for the ribbing and the button band, and I dyed this Sunday myself. This used to be white and I just dyed it myself. And then it's a kind of fun construction. You start with the right sleeve, you knit the ribbing, and then you knit day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on, and you increase for a good amount of time. Then you knit back and forth for the back, half of the back. You put the stitches on hold, and then you start with the next sleeve. And here you're supposed to start with day 25, 24, 23, and so on, so that your your garment meets in the back. I think day 13th and 14th or something like that is meeting in the back. And since this was a calendar that I opened in December, I had to make a choice if I wanted to open the last day of my calendar in the middle of the month instead of waiting. And I decided to go for that. I opened day 24 on day 14th or something, and just did the opposite way, because I really enjoyed knitting on this in December, so I just really wanted to keep doing that, and it turned out fine. Now, I didn't have 25 colors because in Norway we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, which is day 24. So I ended up fading 2 of the colors. I can't remember which color it was, but it was here somewhere. So let's say it was day 21 and 20, and I faded them together. So then I knitted day 21, I faded 21 and 20 together, and then I knit 20. And I just sold it that way. And it turned out fine, I think. And then when you're done with this sleeve, you're supposed to Kitchener stitch those 2 back pieces together. I did that twice and it didn't turn out nice. I wasn't happy with how it looked. I know that if you do Kitchener stitch with the right tension, you can hardly see it. It will be seamless. But I didn't do a good job. And after 2 times, I gave up. So what I ended up doing was using the 3 needle bind off, and I like that much more because, yes, you can see a line, but it looks much better than my Kitchener stitch did. So I will try to turn around and show you, but if you can't see it, I will put in a picture of how it looks in the back. So here in the middle somewhere. Yeah. So I'm happy with that. It doesn't bother me that I have a line in the back. That's okay. It's just a part of the cardigan. And then you knit on the ribbing on the bottom. And I think I knitted it a bit longer than what the pattern says. I could have had it even a bit longer than this, I think, because I am wearing high-waisted jeans or high-waisted pants today, not jeans, black pants. But even though, yeah, I think I could have had a little bit longer ribbing, but that's okay. I was a little bit tired of knitting on the ribbing, to be honest, so I just wanted to finish it. Then I knitted on the button band, sewed in some buttons, mother of pearl buttons, and yeah, it's a different kind of cardigan, I will say. This is kind of a lot of fabric going on, but I like it. I still like it. I think it's very comfy to wear, and I think I will use this a bit. I think it looks good. The only thing is I think I'm going to pull it a lot down because it rides up. So that's a little bit annoying. So that's why maybe I should have had a little bit longer of a ribbing. But of course I can do that, but I don't think I will, to be honest. I also think I want to, I'm never going to have this open, always closed. So I think maybe I will take some sew a little bit here so that these will line up nice and doesn't flare out here, because I'm only going to use it shut anyway, so that's a plan. But all in all, I'm very happy with how this turned out. I really enjoyed knitting on it in December, and I absolutely think I will try and knit more of Ambah O'Brien's patterns. It was a lot of fun, and I know she has a lot of patterns that are for Advent calendars. So yeah, I have to find a new project for this December, which is a long way to December, but I know that I want to have a fun project when December comes around again. Did I say it weighed 217 grams? So I have a lot of this calendar left, and my plan is I have actually some mohair coming today. So I think I will hold the rest with a mohair strand and knit myself a Monday sweater. I think that will be fun. So I just have to warn you, it is a lot of things today, a lot to talk about. So feel free to use the timestamps. I had two more Advent projects, two mystery hats that I knitted in December. The first one is a Brit Christmas hat. It's called Heaven on Earth. Brit is a Norwegian podcaster, and she gave out two rounds of her pattern every day. So it's knit in bulky yarn. This is the hat. A beautiful star on top. I only wanted to use stash yarn, so I hold two strands together. For the white, it's one strand of Drops Tweed number 2 marzipan and one strand of Drops Fiesta, which is also number 2 light beige. The contrast color is 2 strands of Drops Soft Tweed. One is orange and one is gray. And knitted on 4.5mm needles, US 7, and it weighs 85 grams. And this was a lot of fun. It also have these false cables on the brim, which I thought was a lot of fun. This is a perfect hat, I think, because I don't like baggy hats too much. So this fits me perfectly. A lot of fun. And the next hat was also a mystery knit, where you got a few rounds every day, and it's the calendar hat 2024 from handmade.by.mona. She has an Instagram account where all of her calendar hats is. She puts the rounds of her pattern out on her Instagram. So even though you don't speak Norwegian, I think you can manage to knit those calendar hats. I think she has 5, 6, 7, 7, 8 hats at least. And this is not the calendar hat. I don't know why I'm holding it up. Because the calendar hat, I have gifted it. Actually, we had this white elephant. I don't know if you've heard about white elephant game, or you wrap little presents with things that you find in your house. And we had that on New Year's Eve. We were 20 people here, kids and adults, and we had this game, and you throw dice, and it's a fun game, and you get to grab yourself some gifts with funny things inside, or funny, but it can be whatever. It can be whatever you find in your house. That's the point of the game, that you're not supposed to buy new things. And of course, I have a lot of knitted things in my house that I don't necessarily need to have myself. So I wrapped that calendar hat to give away in this game. And the person who got that hat was really happy, and I've seen that he has used it already. So that makes me very happy. I knitted the calendar hat, which I will put up a picture of, in Rauma Finull in the color 40, 14 green, and 434 orange. And it weighs 63 grams. And I used needles 2 and 3 millimeters, which is US 0 and 2.5. Then I had a big sweater that I was knitting on and hoping to gift for Christmas to my oldest son. He's 18. And it's the zipper sweater Light Man by Petiteknit. I don't have this sweater here because he is most likely wearing it. He has been using it so much, which really, really warms my heart. I knitted it in Sandnes Smart 2650 grey beige heathered, and on needles 3.5, 4 millimeter needles, and in the size small. I didn't really enjoy knitting on this. I don't know why. Probably because it's a long collar, a long ribbed collar, and it's a lot of back and forth to shape everything. And of course, when you put it all together, it's a lot of stockinette, and that's fine. It's good to have a project with a lot of stockinettes, but I don't know. It really wasn't a lot of fun. But I knew that it was for my son, and of course I really wanted to gift it for him. He chose that pattern because he really wanted that sweater, so it makes it all worth it. But I was really scared to sew in that zipper. I have never done that before, but of course Kimmy Munkholm, she has a lot of good tutorials for Petiteknit's patterns. So I watched that tutorial a few times, and even though I thought it was kind of fiddly to get started with zipper, when I get started and I started to sew it, it actually went by pretty fast and turned out okay. It's not perfect. I can still see that the zip, it's not perfectly lined, but the zipper is working fine and it looks okay. And I don't think anyone will stare on and study how it was sewn in and everything. So actually, I don't know if I should say this out loud, but I would be willing to do it again, I think. Yeah. And I know there's someone else in this house who really wants the same sweater. So we'll see, not right now, but maybe in the future I will make another one. And I also saw that beautiful new pattern from Petiteknit, Dagmar zipper sweater or something like that, with all of these beautiful, I don't know, is it cables or structure, and it's a zipper. I could have had that sweater. We'll see. It weighed 646 grams, so it's pretty heavy, and it grew a lot when I washed and blocked it. So it's pretty big, but he doesn't mind. So, and he's used it a lot, so I'm very happy to be done and that he is actually wearing it a lot. And the next thing I will talk about, it's the square relay. If you've been here before, you know that the Norwegian podcasters have come together to each design a little square, and every month is a new square from a new Norwegian knitting podcaster. And yeah, it's kind of a knit-along. So when it's my turn to design a square, I am hosting the knit-along for that month. So in December, there was a Norwegian podcast called To rette og en vrang. So, yeah, I don't know how to say that in English, I'm sorry. But it's 3 sisters who has this podcast. They are so sweet. And they designed the daisy square. This is knitted in Rauma Finull 4133 pink marled. It weighs 25 grams. It's knitted on 3.5mm needle. And if you don't know, I am making a blanket of all of the squares. So that is my plan. And then I was asked to test knit one square. The square that was going to be in January, I was asked to test knit by my friends in the Norwegian podcast Strikkeflokken. They are 2 wonderful ladies that I met several times and really considered good friends. And I was so happy to test knit their square called Flokkenlappen. And this is also Rauma Finull in the color 4139 light blue heathered. And this weighs 21 grams. Then at the end of the year, I decided to knit my little puppy a sweater. Yes, I did. He's watching me. He's so bored. Poor thing. I decided to knit him a sweater because it's really cold here now. Or actually, we're getting a milder weather now, but we have had it really cold. And he didn't like to go outside when it's really cold, so I decided to make him a little sweater. And I wanted to knit a free pattern by a Red Heart design called Fair Isle Knit Dog Sweater because I really like this star or snowflake or whatever it is. But I found the pattern to be very difficult to understand. Maybe it's just me, but I didn't really understand the pattern. So after reading it for several times, I just gave up. But I really wanted this star or snowflake to be on the sweater. because that's what I fell for, and I already bought the yarn for this pattern because that was supposed to be very bulky. It was some red heart yarn and that was recommended, but I bought Rauma Vams in the color 3 gray, and the green one is 412. So I looked around on Ravelry and I found another free pattern from Calicoradioknits called Portland Raglan Dog Sweater. This sweater was with a high neck and was just stockinette and looked pretty simple, and it was a great pattern. I have to say, I really enjoyed it. And as for the Fair Isle sweater by Red Heart, that was supposed to be knit flat. This other sweater was knitted in the round. And then, of course, there's some flat knitting in the end with some short rows and stuff, but that was not very difficult. But as I said, I wanted this motif on the sweater, so I just put that motif into this other sweater, and that worked out pretty good, I will say. And the sweater, Portland Raglan Dog Sweater, was in a DK weight yarn, if I remember correctly, and I had bulky weight, so I had to do some math. I thought it was very hard because I've never knit a sweater for a dog before, and to make the right size and everything, and now I also had to calculate myself a little bit to use the right amount of stitches and everything, but it fits him perfectly, so I'm so happy, and I think it's adorable. And I put in a picture of him wearing it, and after he got this sweater, he doesn't mind to go outside in the snow, so that's good. This weighs 73 grams, so I used under a skein of each, or under a ball of each of the colors, which is wonderful. So I have 2 balls and a bit left because I bought 2 of each, because that's what it said in the other pattern that I needed. Yes. And I haven't written what size of needles that I used, but of course all the information is on the side here. So before we say goodbye to 2024, I just want to give you a quick report about how it went in 2024, thinking about how much yarn I got in and how much I knitted up. Because if you've been here before, you know that I tried to have an overview about how much yarn I acquired and how much I knitted up last year. So I know these numbers are not 100% correct, because there are some dishcloths and some things that I haven't calculated in here. And I can't say that I remembered to put in everything that I acquired last year. I think I did, but you never know. But it gives me a little bit of a idea of how much I got in and how much I knitted out of my stash. So the Yarnjoy, as I like to call it, that came into my stash last year was around 16 kilos, 857 grams. That's quite a bit of yarn. But I knitted a lot last year. According to Ravelry, I knitted 107 things. And I know there are a few dishcloths that are not there, but that's so small project. So I have to say, I've said this so many times, but I feel like I have to say it because we all have different amount of time to knit. Some people work a lot, they have families, they have small kids, and they don't have a lot of time to knit, and that's okay. It's not a competition in how much we can knit. But I have a lot of time here at home because of health issues, I can't work. And that means that I have a lot of time to knit. And my kids are quite big now. My youngest is 9, but he's very self-going, so they don't need me as much either. So I have a lot of time to knit. That's why the number I've knitted out of my stash this year is quite high. It's actually 18 kilos and 37 grams. So that means that I've knitted out more of my stash than I got in. So I'm very happy about that. It's really quite balanced. Yes. So that's that. Let's go into 2025 if you're up for it. I know I think this will be a long episode, but I'm very happy that you're here if you're still with me. My first finished project in 2025 was something I started in the end of last year, and it's the Austin socks by the Crazy Sock Lady. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I knitted this in beautiful yarn that I was so kindly gifted from a podcaster friend. And it's yarn I've never tried before, from West Yorkshire Spinners in the colorway Gingerbread. I also got a little mini of this green, and then I put in some Sannes Sisu that I had in my stash because I was a little bit afraid to not have enough yarn. That wasn't necessary. I had enough yarn. So yeah, but I didn't want to take the chance. And I think they were kind of fun with the red heel. This turned out to be a very fun Christmas sock, Christmas socks that I will save and use next Christmas. This pattern is very easy. It's just knit stitches and purl stitches. I don't know if you can see it in this yarn, but yeah, it was just because I didn't want to knit vanilla socks and I wanted to have some fun. So that's why I chose that pattern for this fun yarn. So I knitted on 2.25mm needles, US 1, size small. They weigh 53 grams and turned out to be so fun. My next FO is actually 4 of the same hat pattern. It's the Monument hat from Hanna Lubben in Herb Garden Knitwear. I have knitted 4 of them. I used a week, I think, to knit them all. And that's because in our church we're going to have this fundraiser that we have every year in February. And I am knitting some prizes for that. So I thought a good hat must be a nice prize for the fundraiser. So the Monument hat is a lot of fun. It's knitted in hand spun. I've used Hillesvåg Forgarn, which is their unspun, and together with what's it called in English? Yeah, I used another strand as well together with it. It's supposed to be mohair. I used some different things in this, but in this one it's Dale Tynn Kid Silk Erle, which is a mohair. It's 4032 pink. And this is the size 3, knitted on 6mm needles, US 10, and it weighs 67 grams. The next one is together with Holst Tides wool silk, and it's 70% wool and 30% wool, 30% silk. It's the size 2 on 6mm needles, and this weighs 69 grams. Then it's still with the unspun together with Uppingham British wool, and that's a kind of tweedy thread or tweedy strand of yarn. So you get this fun marling. This is size 3 on 6mm needles and weighs 83 grams. The last one, I didn't have a lot of yarn left to knit, so I didn't have enough for the smallest size in the pattern, so I decided to take away a few stitches, and that way I can make a little children's hat. And it worked out perfectly with the decreases and everything. I've used Hillesvåg unspun again in a light beige color together with the Uppingham British wool again, same as this. And it turned out like this. And here I used 5.5mm needles US 9, and it weighs 54 grams. So I have 4 finished monument hats. So I hope that can be a good price. If you followed me on in Vlogmas, you know that I decided to take almost all of the sock patterns that I had in my Ravelry library and write them the pattern names on little notes and put them in a little vase. Because my plan for this year is to knit a lot of socks. Actually, I knit 23 pairs of socks last year, but I want to knit even more this year, and I want to be very, I want to use the patterns that I have in my library, because there are so many beautiful sock patterns there, and I have my dog is dreaming. Can you hear him? And he makes noise in his sleep. So cute. Anyway, I want to knit all the beautiful patterns that I have in my library. So I am taking out a note, and then yes, and I knit whatever pattern it says on the note. And I've started to do that. And the first sock pattern that I took was the Doodle Socks Cuff Down by Amanda Clark. It's used to be a free pattern, but now it costs £1 Great British pound. That is not too much for a pattern, I'd say. Yeah. I have knitted this in Drops Fiesta in the colorway 3 Grey on size 3mm needles US 2.5 and a size medium. It's a very easy pattern. It's a vanilla sock, and I think this pattern is meant to be a pattern for people who have never knit socks before. It's very clear and yeah, very simple but very nice. So I highly recommend that pattern if you're a first-time sock knitter. So that is pair 1. Actually, it's pair 2 socks, because this is pair 1 in 2025. But so pair 2. Yes, they weigh, I don't know. It will say. Then, so I have a plan for this year. I like plans, I like structure, I like order. So I decided that on Mondays, every Monday, I am going to knit on my socks, at least for 1 hour or more. But every Monday, it's a sock day. Then I have decided that every Tuesday, is Christmas Ornament Day. Yes, you heard correctly. Every Tuesday I will knit on Christmas ornaments because I have a goal to be or have a booth in the Christmas street that we have here in our little town every December. And I really want to do that this year with Christmas ornaments, maybe socks, hats. Yeah, I want to sell things. Or maybe I will go to Christmas market. I don't know. Something like that. That is my plan. I was really inspired by Rebecca in Hypnit. I know that she did that last year. She knit a lot of fun, small Christmas ornaments and sold at a few markets, I think. And yeah, I really want to do the same because it's fun. And it gives me something else to knit. I knit a lot of sweaters and a lot of big things, but I want to focus more on other stuff and maybe not stuff only for me. So if you remember that I had a lot that I knitted Nordic Noel in Drop Stacy, a sweater that felted and shrunk, and it ended up being a sweater for my youngest son. But that's a yarn I don't dare to wash. Actually, I did wash his sweater yesterday because he used it all of December and it needed a wash. So I carefully washed it by hand, and you should have seen that water. I should have taken a picture. It was really, really dirty. So it really needed a wash. But I love that he used it all of December. Anyways, I digress. I wanted to use up that yarn for something that I didn't need to wash, and so I used it for a lot of small Christmas caramels by Petiteknit. A free pattern on Ravelry. It's a lot of fun. It's very sweet, and I have knitted a lot of this. The colors I've used in Drop Stacy is 21 Crimson Red, 1 Nature, and 18 Dark Blue Green. And here is a few of them. I have also used a little bit of silver thread to crochet around the edges. I still have a lot of yarn left because I only use 6 grams of the main color and 2 grams of the contrast color for the stripes. So it really doesn't use up a lot of yarn. So I can knit a lot of this Christmas caramels. They are a lot of fun to knit and they go by really fast. I think I use an hour on one of those, and then you fill it with some, either you can use ends from your knitting, or you can use like I do. I just use a cheap IKEA pillow that I bought, and I just use the stuffing inside and use it for this. Yes, that's all of my FOs. I knit these on 3 millimeter needles, US 2.5. Yes, that's all my FOs, not my whips. My whips we are coming to now. The first thing I want to talk about is 2 Scrappy blankets that I started last year. I decided to start on my Norwegian podcast a Scrappy blanket knit along. If you want to join, I really would love it if you want to join. I only have the FO thread on my Norwegian group on Ravelry. I will link it below to the Finnish or FO thread on my group there. Feel free to join if you want to. Maybe you have a few scrappy blankets as well that you want to finish, and the knit along will go for the entire year. So the prizes will be drawn in 2026, in the beginning of next year. But feel free to join. That will be a lot of fun. I have a hashtag as well. It's in Norwegian, and I will write it on the screen. It's Resteteppekal 2025, which just means Scrappy Blanket Cal 24. No, just 25. So feel free to join. I would love it if you also want to join, but it will be in my Norwegian group on Ravelry. But I will link it all below, so it will be easy for you to find. And you can post your finished blankets there if you want to join. But feel free to also hashtag your pictures with your blankets on this hashtag that I use for Instagram. It won't be prizes on the hashtag, but it will be fun to see what people are knitting or crocheting. And you decide what Scrappy is. I feel free to decide yourself. I also have a blanket here that I use a main color for, and of course that is not scraps, that is new yarn. Then the rest of the blanket is scraps. So yeah, I'm very no rules. But enough about that. I want to show you my blankets. The first one is the Scrappy Granny Stripe blanket. It's under all of my stuff here. It's a lot of stuff here. And I only use fingering weight yarn for this. I use the hook 3.5 millimeter. It's the hook E. So here, I can't show it all, but it's very long. So one stripe takes a long time, but I think it looks so fun. Oh, I'm showing you the back? No, I'm not. Showing you the front. Yes. But it's upside down. You can see, since I showed it on the podcast last time, I've only done a couple of stripes from this marker. So I used to use a lot of my fingering, mostly hand-dyed and mostly sock yarn in this blanket, and it's a lot of fun. I love to crochet. I feel like it's very calming and meditative. So I love to crochet on this blanket. But since Monday is socks, Tuesday is Christmas ornament, Wednesday is Scrappy Blanket Day, and the rest of the week is whatever I want. So the next blanket that I'm knitting on is the Zigzag Zen blanket from Anniina Juuti Knits. Anniina Juuti, which has a wonderful podcast and is a wonderful designer. I'm knitting this blanket with the main color Drops Flora number 7 beige, and a lot of scraps, whatever I have enough of. It's not so easy to show you right now because it's on some cords and stuff, but this is a lot of fun to knit on. It's only garter stitch, and yes. And now I have to be careful because now this open up. But then I can show you from the orange color. Here is the last stripes that I did: the orange, the beige, and the lights color here. I'm knitting this on 5.5 millimeter needles, US 9. And really enjoying the pattern. A lot of fun. And I don't really think about the colors here either. I just take what I have in my stash. And the next sweater that I'm knitting on is actually a sweater that I started in November, I think, but I didn't knit anything on it in December. But now I am knitting on it again. And it's the Paul Klee sweater by Midori Hirose. She's the same one that has the ranunculus sweater. I am knitting this in Hillesvåg Vilje. It's 100% Norwegian wool in the color 402 beige. And a lot of minis that I have, mostly minis that I got from Lauren in Workknits in our Advent swap in 2023, but also some other things that I have in my stash. So this is how it looks now. So as you can see, it's a lot of colors here, but I think it's a lot of fun. Here are different yarns, a lot of new yarns to me that I got from Lauren. It's from John Arben Textiles, Knit by Numbers. It's Yushita, it's Pilcolana Panilla, and Devonia, Yanadelic, Soft Donegal Tweed, yeah. And also some Rauma Finull and Villa Sillat is the brown. It's some of my own hand-dyed yarn in here. Yeah. So a lot of different colors in here. Yes. I am knitting a size. What size am I knitting? Small. On 2.5, 3 and 3.75 millimeter needles, US 1.5, 2.5 and 5. It's a round yoke, so you do increase in the color work, but then you also do some raglans after the color work. So if you can see, I have a lot of stitch markers here. Done several raglans. And now I have divided for sleeves, and I can knit around and round and round on the yoke or the body. Yes. That's where I'm at with this sweater. I haven't tried it on yet. I'm a little bit scared because I'm afraid that it's a little bit tight up here because it looks like that. But the gauge should be right, and the size that I've chosen should be the correct size for me. So yes, I'm hoping also that this color work will relax in washing and blocking. It's a lot of fun to knit on anyway, and I'm just thinking this was so much fun to knit that even though it doesn't fit me, it will be a gift for someone else. Yes, we'll see. We'll see. I'm knitting on another sweater for a friend of mine who asked me, and I said yes. And such a mess here now, so I don't know where it is. Here it is. It's a Norwegian pattern, so it's sadly not in English, but it's the Kløver sweater by Scrappy. Scrappy is known to make very oversized sweaters, so this is a size small. The over width of the sweater is 124 centimeters, so it's quite a lot of positive ease in the sizes. And that's also knitted bottom up, which is not my favorite, and it's all over color work. I can put up a picture of the sweater, and it's knitted in Suri Norwegian lamb's wool in the color green and pink. And here it is so far. And it is a very nice sweater. I think it will be really comfy. It's very oversized and it's going to be like a big hug, I imagine. But I had to go down a lot in needle size because I am a loose knitter. So I'm knitting on 4mm needles, US 6, but you're supposed to knit on even thicker needles. So yeah. But it goes really slow. I'm not really enjoying it too much because I have to concentrate so much. It's so much color work and on the entire sweater. So this will take a long time. But my friend said that's okay. So yeah. It will be a very nice sweater though, I think. Then I'm knitting on a scarf. Another thing that I think I will give as a prize at the fundraiser. And the scarf is Peaks and Valley Scarf by Janet D. Russell. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I'm trying to use up some stash yarn. It's a Senta by Permin. It's yarn that's 50% wool and 50% silk. I'm knitting on needles 4mm US 6. This, I will try to show it to you. It really isn't easy, but really folds up on itself. It has this very easy pattern. It's only using yarn overs and knit two togethers, and but it's very nice, I think. Hopefully it will be a nice scarf that someone can use. I am knitting on 4mm needles US 6. Maybe I said that already, I don't know. Then, as I said, I want to knit on socks all the time. Always have socks on my needles. So not knit on them all the time. That's wrong. But then I had to, since I finished this, I had to take a new note from my glass. And I picked up the Cassandra socks by Mclean. It's also a free pattern. I've downloaded a lot of free sock patterns, I have to admit. So I found some drops Fabel in my stash, which I am using, and it's the color 300 brown. I'm done with one sock. So it's a sock with a cable in the middle. Very nice, I think. Is it focusing? Yeah, all the way up. And it's a heel flapping gusset. I've started the second one. It's on 2.25mm needles, US 1. Then I'm knitting the size 1. It has 4 sizes in the pattern. Yes. So I am pretty far on sock pair number 3 for the year. Before I say goodbye to you today, I just want to quickly talk a little bit about Yarnjoy Plans. I got a few gifts in December, and I also won a couple of knit-alongs, which had yarn prizes. And I have bought a little bit too. So I just quickly want to show you because I love to watch yarn, and I hope you do that too. So I got some yarn from a friend in Germany, and I don't know how to pronounce this, so here it is. The color is called Apple Blossom. It's this beautiful sock set, which I am excited to use. Then I also got this one called Sky on Rainbow. So beautiful. So much fun colors in here. So this has to become something nice. Then I won this yarn in the square relay knit along. This is hand-dyed by a Norwegian podcaster. Beautiful pink color. And I also won in a stone knit along hosted by a Norwegian podcaster. And I won this beautiful green yarn called Holly. And all of this is sock yarn. And then my dad told me to buy my own Christmas gift from him. So of course I had to buy some yarn. So I bought a Christmas surprise from Hettestrikk, a very talented Norwegian hand dyer. And she sent me, I got a bag. It's up there. I should maybe have shown you that too. But I got a bag and I got a pattern on a very beautiful cowl that I think I want to knit. And I got this wonderful yarn. This is Angel Fluff, 53% super baby alpaca, 34% silk, and 13% cashmere. 400 meters and 50 grams. And it's so soft. It's just amazing. So the color is called Sweater Weather. And I think I know why she put this one in, because when I bought that Christmas surprise, I ordered some yarn for a weekend hat and I wanted to splurge a bit. So I bought some Highland wool from her in the color Sweater Weather. Yes. So I guess that's why she put in the same color in the Christmas surprise. I think so. Even though I would love to use them together, that's not my plan. This is going to be a weekend hat. And I really want to knit the cowl pattern that I got from Earth. So I have to find another strand of yarn to hold together with this one. So that is a lot of Yarnjoy in. And I actually did do an inventory of my stash. I did weigh everything and put everything into Ravelry. All of my scraps, everything is in there. And I actually have 15 kilos, 764 grams of yarn. So that was not as much as I thought. But there are a lot of plans here, a lot of projects that I have yarn ready to go for. So I hope that I will be able to knit it out of my stash this year. But I love yarn. I love Yarnjoy. So there will be more yarn into my stash during this year, but I will keep track. I have also gotten this beautiful book from my friend who I got this beautiful yarn from. So I'm excited to write down and keep track of all of my yarn in and all of my yarn out. Yeah. So I think that's a long enough episode. I don't know how long I've been chatting, but I am actually feeling very dry in my throat. And I think I need some lunch, and my dog probably wants to play and go for a walk. Yeah. Although he's very quiet. Anyway, I just want to say thank you so much if you stayed here through all of this knitting talk, and I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for using your precious time together with me. Thank you for all your warm and beautiful comments. It really warms my heart, and all of your thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed already, but you like the content, I would love it if you would subscribe. That is a wonderful way to help me spread the Yarnjoy to more people. So thank you again. I hope you have a good week, Hope you have a good new start to your year, and I'm excited to talk to you again very soon. Bye all of my friends!